Hey, Sussy Stuff. It is Georgia and Molly, and we are here to cover one of the only big games of this weekend, Michigan versus Oklahoma. These are two of the big dogs. Michigan heads to Norman for a ranked clash against Oklahoma. Oklahoma is number 18, I think, on their most recent rankings. Yes, number 18. They're having a great year, definitely trying to a race last year. Michigan opened with a 34-17 win over New Mexico, and Oklahoma dominated Illinois State 35-3. This is one of the only ranked matchups of the week, and we're lucky. It's an SEC one.
We are. I feel like Oklahoma is just kind of coming back from a really tough year last year. We all know how bad it was. Strength of schedule wise, I think Oklahoma does have one of the harder schedules for sure in the SEC when you look at just the way that I really don't know who's writing these schedules, but they've got to do better next year. Um, but Oklahoma kind of is coming out of the gate. I feel like this domination that they had last week is going to fuel the fire for them playing Michigan this weekend. I feel like the Big Ten only plays cupcake schools. Like, okay, great, you're gonna play Northwestern next week? Like, I don't care. So I'm interested.
Rambling State.
Like, no, Rutgers. Like, who even knows who that is? So I'm interested to see how this goes. Just Big Ten versus SEC. We did have such a big matchup last week with Texas versus Ohio State. The Big Ten kind of took over in that one. So my prayer, I hate saying this, I feel gross. My prayer is that Oklahoma pulls it out here because I think I'm going to favor Oklahoma in this one.
Yeah, they are
Just
favored by 6.5. Michigan is a plus 186 underdog. Um, OU has a 53% chance of winning. So it's basically 50-50, a big toss up here.
big game. I mean, and even last year, this week two was so tough for Michigan. They lost to Texas week two last year. So I say, let's do it again, SEC. Let's bring Michigan down on week two again. Let's have another little fever dream.
I'm not a Michigan fan. Sometimes I think that I don't like Michigan more than I don't like Ohio State, but I'm not really sure right now. Michigan is just a tough one for me as an Alabama fan. They ruined my life a lot. But, week one takeaways for Michigan: Bryce Underwood had 251 yards, one touchdown, and he definitely had some flashes of brilliance. And then, of course, Justice Haynes, who was one of my favorite Alabama players, is now a Michigan Wolverine, and he had a career high of 159 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think he definitely has one of the abilities to be one of the top running backs in the league. They had 25 different defenders contributed to their defense in week one. It still feels like they kind of held back offensively versus New Mexico. I do expect a little bit of a harder time against Oklahoma's defense, though.
I think it's fuel to the fire for both teams. I think they're both pretty hyped going into this game because it is genuinely really the only big matchup we have this weekend. And so I think a lot of eyes are going to be on this game. I think people who don't care about Michigan or Oklahoma are going to want to watch good football. And this is such a toss up. I think it's going to be good football. But I'm such a fan. I think it's just tough. I think, defense for sure wins the game. So this is tough for me because I do think Michigan's kind of stacked on the defensive side. The Big Ten, I feel like, is known for that, though. I feel like every time I've watched a Big Ten team play, like Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, I feel like their defense is normally pretty strong. I think this is something that we as a conference should work on together.
Well, it's funny because in the past, that's what the SEC was known for: big defenses, heavy defense. We didn't have a lot of big offensive, players a lot of times back in the way past. And then it really kind of transitioned to heavy offense in the South. Speaking of offense, John Mateer, our favorite better gambler at Oklahoma. I'm just kidding. I know he didn't do it, but it's just funny to joke about. He completed 30 out of 37 passes, 392 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 1 interception. He's definitely dual threat, and he definitely stresses defenses out. Oklahoma has playmakers like Keontae Lewis. He had 9 catches, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Their defense only allowed 34 pass yards versus Illinois State, but they gave up 126 yards on the ground. And you can't do that when Justice Haynes is the running back. So they definitely need to fix that before facing Michigan.
This is still so early on in the season. It's tough. I do think Oklahoma will pull this one out. I think Oklahoma is actually stacked a lot better than I previously thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to have obviously strength of schedule. They've got a tough schedule coming up, but I do think they're doing better than I assumed they were going to do. And like I said in the beginning, I do think with such a fire lit under their butts right now, coming off from a win, this is also a home game. There are so many factors to this. I think that Oklahoma, if you're a Boomer Sooner, I do think that you're going to have a good weekend this weekend. But what a good matchup. This is definitely something I'm going to be tuning into. But I just think watching the Michigan defense versus OU's offense is going to be really, really interesting on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I definitely think that like Keontae Lewis is going to be able to stretch that secondary for Michigan. But yeah, like you said, it's a night game at Norman. College GameDay is going to be there because, like we said, it's one of the only interesting games this weekend.
Prime time.
Yeah, prime time, baby. Interesting fact, though, Michigan has won 13 straight night games. Can Oklahoma fans test that streak and end that for them? Is Bryce Underwood ready for prime time?
Oklahoma's got a lot on their backs right now. Like, they're trying to erase what happened in 2024. They're trying to move forward. They're trying to be like, you know what? We're just going to pretend that whole season just never happened. We're going to step into 2025, 2026 season, a brand new team. And I think this is genuinely a big chance for them to announce themselves as playoff contenders, SEC championship contenders. You never know. You never know. Do I think that that's going to happen? No, but that's my personal opinion.
I mean, we all gotta have opinions. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun game.
Georgia, what is your prediction score at?
I'll say 24-10 Oklahoma.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that Oklahoma's defense is going to be able to stop Michigan, and I do think that Michigan's O-line is going to have trouble against them. So I'm expecting some sacks. I think Bryce Underwood's going to be under pressure a lot as, Michigan's quarterback. I think I picture him on the ground. So
yeah, I agree. I feel like it might be a little bit closer than 24-10. I'm gonna say it's gonna be within 3 points difference. I don't know though. The defense. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 3 point difference. I can't give you quite like if it's gonna be a high scoring game or not. I don't necessarily think so.
I don't know. Bryce Underwood can make me eat my words. He's got a good arm, and he can definitely chuck it down. And he might make me eat my words. That's fine. It could be a lot higher scoring than I'm expecting.
I mean, Michigan is also on 6 straight road wins. So, I think Oklahoma has the upper hand, and that's why I think it is going to be a 3 point difference.
I don't know. I'm hoping, we're always going to cheer for the SEC. Even our Texas girl is going to cheer for Oklahoma this weekend. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a prove it game for both teams. With College GameDay, there's a big highlight on these games. If Bryce Underwood and Justice Haynes can carry the team against this defense, then they're going to have a really big chance of winning and upsetting Oklahoma. And if Mateer is real, he's going to be able to perform against a top 10 program, and we'll see. It's going to be a fun one. this is the one people are going to be watching. So let us know what y'all think. What's y'all's predictions? Is it going to be a high scoring game, a low scoring game? We will see.
We will see, man. I don't know. We'll just have to see. You guys let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. And check back next week with the review of this game.